Hi, we are back.
Hi. Hi.
Hey there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen in Singapore, and that's Ange in Hong Kong, and that's Percy, I think, on holiday in the Philippines. And we are absolutely live. Welcome to Dear Future Grandkids. This is a show where we ask an interesting guest a big question. What would you say to your future grandkids?
Yeah, it's an exciting show. It's really going to be exciting because my Wi-Fi is bad. So if I disappear, I'm sorry, guys. I really am sorry. But I really am looking forward to talking to our guest today. I got a chance to talk to her briefly yesterday in our pre-interview. But you guys, Jen and Ash, you know her really well.
Rather too well.
We do.
We know her a little bit too well. Thanks to Britney Spears. This is very true story. Thanks to Britney Spears, we had a very wicked weekend in Tokyo once, didn't we, Jen?
Absolutely. It was just the most fun, bizarre, memorable trips I've ever taken in terms of work. And what can I say, Britney Spears? If you're watching, thank you very much. I'm a slave for you.
Thank you, Britney.
I keep telling that story that you guys were able to interview Britney Spears without a script and without a camera, but somehow you managed to come back with footage. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, and it was the first time that I was considering lying to my boss, right? And I remember Asha and Jen were talking to me on the phone, go, yeah, just say we're stuck in a typhoon and we have to stay in Tokyo for 3 more days. And I said, guys, I don't do this. I'm the squarest person ever. I just can't do this. And I said, how about I try telling the truth first, and then I'll lie, you can talk me into what I need to say afterwards. And I just literally said to my boss, hey, boss, the weather looks bad. We might be stuck in Tokyo for a while. And our boss, James, he just went, yeah, cool, have fun in Tokyo. And there was, I had built it all up as this big, huge thing, but he was like, yeah, it's fine. Stay in Tokyo. Enjoy. Say hi to Britney Spears for me.
Ange, and just not to try to mortify you, but I think you may have let the cat out of the bag and told everyone who the guest is.
I told everyone who the guest is?
You might have mentioned her name just now, but pretend we didn't hear it.
Oh, who we got?
McFly. Monica McFly. There you go. It's Monica McFly.
So allow me to tell you, okay? Today we're building a video time capsule for a person who wears many hats. Now, she's a model. She's graced countless magazines covers, of course, Time magazine as well. She's been a VJ on Channel V. She's hosted The Lonely Planet on the Discovery Channel. She's on Light FM a breakfast radio show in Malaysia. And of course, she's a women's rights activist as well. She's warm, she's loud, and I'm proud to call her my friend. And thanks to Ange, this was said earlier, but now I get to say it. Please welcome Asha Gill.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Just pouring tea.
Oh, good one. Brew us a cuppa, Asha.
Yeah, sorry about that, Asha. We've got this intro all sorted out, and then our McFly over there let the cat out of the bag and said, hey, Asha and I, we went to Tokyo to see Britney Spears.
It's a feral cat, and it needed to get out of the bag. What can I say?
Exactly.
There you go. How are you doing today, Asha?
I'm great. It's Saturday. I love Saturdays. How are you guys?
Good. Excited.
Good.
So,
thanks for spending Saturday with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You sound like you're by the ocean. Are you?
How I wish. I'm in a roof deck. I'm about to be blown away, actually.
Not for another hour. Just stay with us for an hour. Hold the pole.
Yeah, I will hold on to this laptop.
Oh, it's so nice to be here with you guys. Oh, hugs. I loved it. Actually, what's very pleasing is seeing your shelving and your bookcase.
You can definitely tell that we're live on the show and Percy's on the beach somewhere because you can just hear crosswinds going.
Yeah, you just hear wind. Hey, actually, we're live now on Facebook and on YouTube. So we've got viewers there. Hello, everybody on Facebook and YouTube.
What Percy just said was, we're live on something, and hello, everybody, I think. I'm the wind translator.
Yeah, whatever,
Okay.
Percy, whatever.
I will just flash signs. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay, Asha. So the name of our show is Dear Future Grandkids. Now, when you think of yourself as a grandmother, what do you imagine? What do you think you would look like?
Did you say grandmother?
Yeah, grandmother.
Yeah. This is what we think you'll look like.
You didn't grey my hair because I'm already like going super grey. Gosh, I look a bit like, what's her name from Gillian Anderson there in terms of face shape.
Look great. Really
I don't think you guys. I don't think you guys are. That's very interesting.
And this is you.
That's the Punjabi genes. If I don't actually remove facial hair, that's what's going to happen.
We didn't grey your hair. We just gave you a greying beard.
Well,
I like it.
Well, a lot of parts are white. I have to say. Yes, we're getting speckles. Yes, eyebrows, eyes. I even found one nasal hair that was white. It's happening, and I'm embracing it. It's my sparkles of wisdom. Yes, I'm not going to dye my hair, so I don't know. It's hard to see. Actually, I don't look like I've got one grey in this light. It's perfect light. I must buy more ring lights and just live holding a ring light around me the whole time. I think
you should. So it doesn't matter whether you're a grandmother or a grandfather. We think you look great. So we're going to ask you some quick fire facts right now. Some quick fire questions right now. So in 3 words, how are you feeling right now?
super bloody happy.
Super bloody happy. That's awesome. That is total fridge magnet adjective. Where were you born?
I was born in Pembrey in Kent.
Oh, I did not know that. You weren't born in Malaysia?
No, I was born in the UK. So Mum was working at Guy's Hospital and sensibly decided that she's going to have her first child in England where she kind of knew the sort of setup and stuff. And so Gran and Gramps were living Pembrey side or near enough that was sort of the main hospital. So yeah, I was born in Pembrey, Kent. Like that. Oh. Yeah, Kent girl. I went to school in Malaysia and I went to school in England as well. So I went to school in my poor father, amazing man that he is, scrimped and saved to put me in an international school in Malaysia, and he just wasted his money because I spent pretty much every week in detention. So I feel like he wasted a lot of money in this sort of black hole that was his firstborn daughter. So sorry, Dad. And then I went to school in England. I sort of did O-levels, A-levels in Kent in various schools around there. Yeah.
And how much time did you spend in detention in England?
A fair bit. Actually, in England, though, they didn't have detention so much. It was more like lines, and you had to write essays and stuff. So I did my fair bit of. Maybe that's why I'm such a good writer now.
Your penmanship is so good.
Yeah. So I did kind of sort of get into trouble and stuff quite a bit at school. I wasn't very. I think. It wasn't that I was so much a troublemaker, I just wasn't very academic. And so, as is with a lot of kids who don't really kind of know that they've got perhaps learning difficulties or stuff like that, I was the clown and I was always getting into trouble. So anything to avoid. So I was trying to avoid doing schoolwork because I found it so difficult, but invariably I got into trouble because of that. So yeah, delinquent.
I can imagine the young Asha Gill would be the coolest kid to hang out with back in Hogwarts. I can just imagine.
No, I was a bit of a nerd.
What was the first TV show you saw?
Gosh, my memory is pretty rubbish, but we grew up when TV only started sort of late afternoon and finished at 11. I don't know if anyone watching remembers that. So I remember growing up with this wonderful anime that was on every Sunday about this poor boy, and I still haven't found the name of it. This poor boy trying to find his mum, and so it was like post-apocalyptic sort of cities he'd go through. So there was that, and then 8 is Enough, Little House on the Prairie, The Waltons.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love all that. I love all that. And what movie or TV show can you quote from the most?
None. Oh, yes. Here's one. Grey's Anatomy. Stat. They say stat a lot, right? It means immediately. That's all I remember.
That's cheating. That could also be ER.
Yes, it could be. Yes, it could be. Or clearly ER. Any medical show that I've watched. Stat. There you go. No, I'm rubbish at that.
Stat.
Okay. I find that boys tend to be better at, like, my brother and his friends, and even my male friends, because I had a lot of male friends at school. They were amazing. They could just spout off reams of stuff from anything they watched, and they'd rewatch. But I've got a brain like a sieve, so sorry.
No, that's because us boys, we just have a treasure trove of useless information in our brain.
That's right.
Yeah,
100%.
It's all the useless information. Yeah, right, Ken?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Asha, what's the first album that you bought? First album.
Oh gosh, first album that I bought. It would either have to be probably a Van Morrison or a Joni Mitchell. I kind of got them around the same time. Yeah.
Ooh, still cool though.
Very into folk.
Yeah. How about the first concert that you went to?
So when I was, I guess, around sort of 16, 17, I had a boyfriend, and he wanted to impress me, and he said, hey, my brother works as sort of part of the roadie team with bands. The roadies are the people who kind of go and they do all the hard graft. They set up the whole gig, lights, everything, sets and stuff like that. And he was a roadie for quite a big band in the UK. And anyway, so my boyfriend goes, he's got tickets for a concert, let's go. So I thought that we were going to go and see Status Quo, which was quite big at that time, all those moons ago. But no, we were in fact going to go and see a concert of the sort of opening act for Status Quo. And if memory serves correct, which it rarely does, but literally I turn up to this massive sort of stadium, for want of a better word, and we're going to go and see Dumpy's Rusty Nuts, which is a I don't remember anything about it. I just remember how sweet it was. That was my first sort of concert. It was Dumpy's Rusty Nuts or something like that. I think they're a band.
I will have to look them up on Spotify. I really will have to look that up.
Actually, do look it up. Can someone look it up now? Because I made it up, because I do have a memory problem and memory like a sieve, and I've got my phone here, and I'm just, someone help me, just Dumpy's Rusty Nuts. Is there such a thing?
Dumpy's Rusty Nuts.
I'll look for it.
Okay, Jen is looking for it.
Yeah.
I've got another question for you while we look for that.
There is.
It does exist.
Look.
Oh my God.
They're the first band I went to go see.
I think their downloads just went through the roof because of you, Asha. That's it. You just promoted them. They're now trending.
Thanks, David, for getting us the tickets. If you ever come across this, it was Dave who got us the tickets, and yeah.
Yeah, somewhere, the Dumpy's Rusty Nuts band members are going like, "What's going on?" Hey, Asha, what's the first job you remember wanting when you were a kid?
First job that I wanted? I wanted to be a hairdresser.
Oh, nice.
I still love playing with hair, and I cut my son's hair, much to his chagrin, growing up, and then I kind of still do trim it. It's long now, so it's sort of easier to trim, but I love anything hair, and I think maybe that's because mine's so just thin and useless that I kind of have hair envy, and I'm very fascinated by hair.
You've got cool hair. Your hair is cool in all your photos, but then again, you're a model. You know.
Then again,
So-
there's amazing hairstylists that come onto shoots and stuff. So let's give credit where credit is due, please. Yeah, we have hairstylists and makeup artists for a reason. That's because they make everyone look amazing.
Yeah, they do. All right. Our next question. Aside from a house or a car, what's the most expensive thing that you've ever bought?
This is a good one. Probably the vacuum cleaner, because my son's got allergies. So I think I dropped like 4,500 ringgit on a special vacuum cleaner that basically just like, what are you talking about?
No,
I'm seeing something first out.
just keep going on. Tell us about the vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
So this vacuum cleaner, it's broken now, so that's a real shame, but it lasted quite a few years. It's got like water in it, so basically it sucks up. It was amazing. I loved it. I'm actually looking forward to getting a new one, and it's brilliant, and it kind of spurts out water so you can steam and stuff. So I had a lot of fun over the years with my vacuum cleaner.
Did you?
And tell the story. Tell the story.
With your vacuum cleaner. Did you just say that?
Yes.
I'm definitely. I'm going to go to my bank manager and get all my money out, and I'm definitely putting all the cash I have on this vacuum cleaner, because last week, Azura, the other week, Azura, we asked her a similar question.
Right.
You're both from Malaysia.
Yeah.
And she just went on and on about this vacuum cleaner.
No, can I just tell a story? After Azura's episode, my sister messages me, right? And she doesn't message me much. And she goes, "You know that vacuum cleaner? I've always wanted one of those." What's going on? You're going to be sponsored by vacuum cleaners this show.
If I get a free one of the one that I want, because the one that I want is way more expensive, let me know, because there is nothing better and more helpful when you've got kids and 2 dogs that shed like crazy to have a really amazing kick-ass vacuum cleaner. So yeah, well done, Azura. We're on the same page, baby.
No, this is the thing. I can't work out whether you and Azura, there's some secret girls' code for vacuum cleaner that I don't know about, and I want in. I want in on this special club. It's clearly happening, because you cannot be telling me you're spending that much money on something.
Okay, I'll tell you why. When you've got like my kiddo with his allergies, right? When you've got a kid with allergies, I mean, I don't have carpets and stuff. It's bad enough I have a fabric sofa. Like, I'm actually in the market right now for a leather sofa, even though we live in the tropics because of his allergies, right? But you've got a vacuum cleaner that basically allows you, because it's got the different HEPA filters and the water and stuff, the dust, because the normal vacuum cleaner, it's like you get dirty air that comes out. That's why vacuum cleaners smell. So, and dust particles don't always get suctioned in. And then when you open out and you pour it out, if you've got fans living in Asia, the dust circulates. So when you've got a vacuum cleaner that literally like hermetically seals whatever it suctions up, and it is amazing enough that it gets dog hairs, dog fur balls, bits of cereal dropped by 13-year-olds who can't be bothered to clean up for themselves, and it can suck up like puddles. So you spill something and it's just like you get this thing and it sucks it into water, and you don't have to fuss about like, gosh, I've got to wipe it first, then I've got to give it a mop, wait for it to dry, and then all dog hairs and whatever else is stuck to that because you live in a house with feral animals. I'm just looking for them because I don't want to upset them. There's one sitting over there. Can you see? Indy.
Yeah.
Hi. So I don't know where the other one is. So, and then you can vacuum beds with it because of dust mites. So, the skin and sheds and everything like that. And that's dust that affects. And you've got a child who can't breathe, who's literally on antihistamines all the time and is ventilating and stuff. And you can use this to just suction everything. And you can clean sinks and bathrooms with it because it's got a water thing where you can steam clean. So you don't need to buy detergent because you can use the steam clean function. So I can have clean floors that are 99% bacteria killed because of the steam function. It's like I save on harsh chemicals that I don't actually use anyway. I don't use them, but you don't have to worry about it. Like, it's a godsend.
What is in the tea? What is in that teapot?
What is it about Malaysian and
I tell you what's in the teapot. Teapot is desperate. It's called Desperate for High Class Vacuum Manufacturer to sponsor Asha.
Well, Asha, always know when to pull the plug. I mean, I can't believe for the last few minutes we've been talking about the virtues of a very expensive vacuum cleaner. So, I mean, I guess from that, something so expensive to maybe something very invaluable, can you just tell us what are you reading right now? What book are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book called Scattered Minds by Gabo Mate. It's about ADHD adults.
And what's your favorite book?
Do you have ADHD?
It's interesting because a lot of discoveries about myself have come from sort of helping my son, who's on the spectrum, and he's just the most incredible human being. And so I bought this book and started to read it, and went, oh, that sounds very familiar. Oh, that sounds familiar too. Yeah, mystery solved. So perhaps yes. I mean, I haven't got. In fact, I am looking into getting, and I want to this year for my birthday present. I'm going to get a proper full assessment to see whether or not people can tell me what kind of neurodiversity that sort of are things that I am dealing with or have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my oldest son, Dylan, who's 12, turning 13 this year. He was diagnosed with ADHD when he was 4 years old. So, and that really helped us. So we really understood, what he was going through, and we could really help him in terms of understanding him and school as well. So I think that's a great book. I'm definitely going to read that one for sure.
Yeah, I'll send you a WhatsApp picture of it. I mean, that's for adults, but Jen, you might find some interesting points.
Has it got pictures?
No, but funnily enough, it talks about it. So, I think, there's a lot of what Sir Ken Robinson says and Gabo Mate says about adults and how we also, and the interesting thing about the book is Gabo Mate himself is someone who's an ADHD adult and a doctor. And it just discusses his whole journey of his sort of erratic mood swings and his overwhelm as a parent. So it's actually amazing for parents to read if you've got kids on the spectrum. It's an amazing book because you might find a lot about yourself that you just had to get on and deal with, and this is just the way I am, this is just the way I want things, that you might actually find a lot of parallels or cross parallels, which enables you to not only be a better parent to your kid, because perhaps you have a better understanding of what's going on there, but also a better way of managing yourself. Yeah. So that's also key, because a happier, calmer parent leads to, happier, calmer children.
Definitely. Calmer children's always good. Do you have a favorite word?
A favorite word?
Yeah, a word. What's your favorite word?
I like fab. I use fab quite a lot. That's fab. Yeah, I like fab.
How would you use that in a sentence all the time then?
That's fab. Fab. That's fab.
That vacuum cleaner is fab.
That vacuum cleaner is super fab. Yeah.
One. So there's probably a lot of fat people out there. So
sorry.
So, yeah, go ahead. Again? No, go ahead. You're in the middle of something.
One word I use in the house a lot. It's a sort of house context thing. Is go away. And I say that to my child and the dogs because I'm busy and I can't cope, overwhelmed. They don't take it badly, but it's like I'm in the middle of something and I'm just like, go away. And they're like, okay, backtrack, go away. Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of famous people will say, go away. And in part of your job, so you've met a lot of them. So who would you say is the most famous person you've ever met?
Gosh, for people like you, me, and Jen, that's a tough one, isn't it?
I know. I thought you were going to say me. I would say you.
No, you wouldn't. You'd say Azura. You'd play us off each other.
Well, her vacuum cleaner is still working, so.
Yeah, well, it's new. Just wait. Most famous person. I suppose most famous in terms of perhaps most famous for longest. Does that work? Because it's like he's been most famous for longest of it. Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Stones. Mick Jagger.
Wow. What was he like?
Lovely, perfect gentleman, very funny. They all were. No, really, no, really. Just we had such a lovely conversation. They're all very intellectual because of maybe the age. I don't know what they were like when they were, younger and stuff. But delightful gentlemen to have a really lovely, vast array of conversation that goes all over the place. So yeah, unlike some others who are sort of perhaps in the age bracket who are still very childish and sort of diva-like, those old blokes, old chaps were lovely. Yeah.
It's nice to know. Now, if there was someone who could play you in a movie, who would it be? Not Mick Jagger.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I'd like Johnny Depp to play me in a movie.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I could see that.
Yeah. Because I reckon I look like Johnny Depp when I'm a boy. So that would mean, conversely, if Johnny Depp was looking like a girl, he would look like me, maybe.
And thank you very much. We definitely got to know you a bit better with our quick-fire questions. And thank you all for watching. If you've got any questions you want to send to Asha, just leave it in the comments. And we'll do our very best to read as much as we can. And maybe we'll ask some of the questions to Asha and she can answer them as well. So please keep those comments coming in. Keep those questions coming in as well.
Right now, Asha, I want to find out more about you by having a nosy around your house. So I wonder if you can get up and show us a bit of your house that you're most embarrassed about. Never showed it.
Actually, it's weird because the thing I'm kind of most sort of conscious of, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but conscious of, is something that's always visible to guests. So it's a bit of a weird thing. Like I don't have it closed when I should have it closed because I'm conscious about it, but I have it open because by it being open makes me more conscious and aware of making sure that it's not in such a bad state, if that makes sense.
That's it. Can you show us?
Hold on.
Oh my God, this is great.
All right, here we go. So if you want to know if you want to know my state of mind, then hang on, big noise coming up. Then you look at my larder. Where we go? So
That's
here we have my larder. Yes.
So is it in the cupboard?
Why is it in the cupboard? I don't have it in the cupboard. Because I have it on shelves. Because I'm a shelf person. So okay, when I'm cooking and single mom, I don't have time, and the way this house is supposed to set up, I don't want to be slamming and opening cupboards. It's just too stressful. So I have everything on a shelf. So if I'm in a kind of good upkeep mental health space and I've got things under control, this shelf has a system that's kind of normal. So this is kind of decent place. We've got, oils here. We've got sort of sauces starting here. We've got dry spices and it goes on. And then, let me see, we've got rice down there and, tins of sort of stuff and then equipment sort of over there. And then I've got sort of cereal, breakfast stuff, and this is my baking shelf over here. So, and this is my handy little duster to keep it kind of dust-free because I have got dogs and they burgers everywhere. So if I'm really not doing well, this place is a shambles. So it's kind of like an external reflection of the inner mind. And because I'm so chaotic in my mind, I generally tend to have my house in order so that it helps me function. Otherwise, I'd just go nuts. But the other place that's really messy, which has got bills and, people don't want to see the kinds of things I have on my shopping list, but it's there for everyone to see because I'm an open book. Got my electricity bills down there. They're really extortionate at the moment, living at home and working from home. I've got a little drawing there. This is my son's drawings. I love his art style.
That's super cool. What's in your fridge?
Okay. There you go.
That's really neat. You're
really organized. You're pretty neat and organized.
So this is kind of breakfasty stuff and sauces and everything, and this is kind of also sort of cheeses and meats and yogurts and stuff. That's lentil stew that we're going to have for dinner tonight that I made. That's my juice I haven't drunk, fruit and stuff. So there's fruit at the bottom, sort of milk and, yeah, well, I can't, I have to find strategies that help me. And, as I said, I'm very disorganized, highly disorganized. I'm very scatterbrained, possibly very ADHD. So if I don't have things in a place where I know where they are and I can't just quickly do something, it really does impact everything else that comes after it. So a lot of people, they're trying to find something. They may be stressed in that moment, but then they get on with it. Whereas with me, that frustration kind of sits around like an energetic ball and chain. So as you can see in my house here, it's pretty sparse. Got a sofa and telly, ironing board because I've got to do some ironing. And that's sort of
nothing
really.
would say that that's disorganized mind.
Yeah.
Like nothing would tell me that's disorganized. And I know what you're saying. You're trying to overcompensate because I believe the same thing. I believe a cluttered environment is a cluttered mind. So when I'm really stressed, the first thing I will do is tidy up my desk. When I've got a lot and I'm overwhelmed, I've got a lot to deal with, I'll tidy up my desk. But this is spotless.
Yeah.
Well, just if things are in place, as I said, it's kind of like a tidy place allows you to be scattermind, but I guess sort of function at the same sort of time, Whereas, look at my sister, and she's the kind of person, sorry, sis, when she was younger, not much anymore, but, you couldn't get in her room for sort of clothes and everything strewn everywhere, but right from a young age. And in fact, I'm so grateful my son is the same. He puts stuff away, he makes his bed, like everything's kind of, when it's clean and neat, it's like there's space to sort of get that crazy out there and then kind of give it some kind of shape or form and then kind of do stuff. So.
Amazing.
Oh,
Asha, everything that you do, you're always so on point. But really, you have a pointless skill?
Oh, do I have a pointless skill?
Yeah.
I was... I like to untangle things.
Really?
Yeah, so...
What, just anything? Wires, if you see them, you start untangling stuff?
Wires, or okay, so here's the thing. I like to untangle stuff. So there's wires or, chains, necklaces, headphones, a lot of people just stuff them in the bag. They don't really care. Charger cords, all those kinds of things. But also at the same time, I fidget a lot, right? I stim. It's called a stim. People stim all the time. But when I'm, especially on the radio show and I'm doing interviews with people, when I'm tired, because, we do the radio show, it's sort of like we work at 5 or we finish at 10. Then we do interviews after that, sometimes with people who can't make it on the show earlier. And we have a telephone there, which has got one of those old school coily cable wire things. And I love tangling it in increments to make it sort of patterns and then untangling that. So yeah, tangling, point of skill to untangle or to tangle on purpose.
Yep. Definitely a skill and pretty pointless.
If you need a ball of string or something untangled, just give it to me. I'll happily sit there in front of a movie or something and just work on it for a couple of hours, send it my way, send it in the post.
Yeah, I'll send you my headphones. Yeah, my headphones are all on their way.
Fantastic. Yay!
Yeah, more stuff to untangle. Asha,
Bring it.
Yeah, we'll send it to you. But now, don't get too comfy because the next thing we want you to do is to pick up two items, either from your work or from your travels, and tell us about them.
2 items from my travels and my work.
Yeah, either from your work or from your travels.
All right, I'll be right back.
Cool. I love the tour of Asha's place.
Even the tour of her place is organized. Like she went from one direction to another and wound up just casually in the same spot.
You know what, guys? If she comes back with the vacuum cleaner, we're calling it quits for the show.
That's right.
Yeah, I know.
We're done.
We lose all our viewers instantly.
Yes. It's
So
Dear Future Grandkids shopping.
So So as Ange and Jen knows, I struggle to follow instructions, so I have more than 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
So, but they're for different things. So, what do you want? Which ones do you want? I've got. Okay, I bought. Hang on, 1, 2. I've got 4 things that I could find. I was about to pick up the 5th, but I thought, no, that's too much.
Let's go through them.
Okay, so I travel everywhere with this when I'm traveling away from home. Incense sticks.
Okay.
So hotel rooms, wherever I have to stay somewhere, incense sticks. It's kind of the way I act like an animal and scent my space. To work or when I travel, I carry these 2. So it could be any kind of oil. So this is like Funya kind of oil, either the hot or cold kind. So I like the Axe brand one, and I also like this one, the red one. And I have this. This is amazing. Have you guys ever used one of these?
No, what is it?
It's a massager thing. It's so good, and it's small enough. And you just kind of put oil on that section, and then you can just get into knobbles of wherever the knobbles are. So there's a lot of tension in my neck, and small enough to carry. And then you can lean up against a wall. Here, let me show you. Hang on. It's probably going to drop now, but all right. So get it in. Where is it? Put it in place there. And because of it sits on the wall, it's like, oh my God, it feels amazing.
Oh my God. I want one of those.
Yeah.
I send you my Tangled headphones. You send me that.
No deal. No deal. And then this is something I carry with me at the moment since joining radio again. It's my own little popper because it's COVID, and I like to have a clean one where it kind of smells of, fresh stuff, and I know it's been washed, sort of thing. So, yeah.
That's very smart. That's really, really smart.
Ta-da! 4 things.
Ta-da.
Those are amazing 4 things.
Wait, thank you.
Yeah. I want one of those things.
One of these things. Yeah, I actually got this in London many, many years ago when I was doing my Lonely Planet in London, and it's from a specialist shop which does, funnily enough, it's sort of all things, I guess, erotic, and they have all sorts of beautiful gels and potions that are all edible and stuff like that, and other things, clothing and stuff like that. But I was drawn to this, and I bought a feather. Now, I don't know what they're supposed to be for.
I wonder. Wonder.
So there's a feather, sort of in the same way, there's a feather catchment with the feathers coming out, and then this one. And I don't know what they're supposed to be for. However, I saw them and thought, oh my gosh. So for the feather one, I love tickling myself to sleep. So I'll just lay there if I'm stressed. I just tickle my arm. So I used to do that for my kid, give his arm, tickle that. And then this became my carry everywhere massager. So I don't know what the original thing's for, but anyway, it's my massager. And it's
Have we just
Did we just cross the line? I think we did.
we just
somewhere
crossed
there.
many lines?
Well, let's just say that erotic shops have a lot of, I guess, sensual enhancing things with it, and
I think that's fascinating, though. I mean, to be honest, I would never have thought of looking for something like that in an erotic shop.
Me neither. Well, we were filming, right? So it's called. Am I allowed to say the name of the shop? I don't even know if it's still runs.
Sure, they might sponsor us. Come on, bring it.
Yes. Thank you, Bleeders at erotic shop. Why not?
I think it's called. If I can't remember, I think it's Coco de Mer or something. It's the lady who started off Body Shop. It's her daughter's shop, so it's Coco de Mer or something like that. And it's got beautiful stuff in it.
Are you sure it's not called Dumpy Rusty Nuts?
No. I think I could Google Coco de Mer. Let me just see. I don't know if it exists. It was
Don't
a beautiful shop. We were filming.
Put the phone down. Put the phone down.
He's
Okay.
He's Googling that again.
Yeah.
So it
I
sounds
listened to Ange.
Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely a family business with the owner of Body Shop and that erotic shop as well. And you've just put me in the toughest spot right now because I really want to find out more about your family. And I don't know what sort of transition can I go from an erotic shop to your family.
I have a great thing for you. I've got a great thing for you.
Jen, you're a professional host. You can do this. You can transit. No, why don't Asha, since you're a professional radio DJ, why don't you take us from sex shop to talking about the family bit?
Okay, so we call this, on the radio show, we call this Keithing because of our producer, Keith. So Keith has this amazing thing that he does. So when someone's talking about something over here and he wants to take it over there, he lets the person finish and he goes, right, so anyway, Asha, speaking of which, and then he just completely talks about something else. So why don't you try that again? Just go, right, okay, speaking of which, and then transition. And you leave people kind of going, gosh, I missed the transition, or I missed the link, or I must be silly, I must be slow, and you just put it on the audience. So go ahead.
Okay, right, I'm going to try it. Right, speaking of which, Asha, can you tell us about your family? I mean, starting with your parents. I mean, who they are, what did they do? Oh, God.
Fantastic. No, it worked. It's fantastic. You see how it works? It's seamless.
It's the worst.
Seamless. Speaking of London, you were speaking of London. I said it was a London shop. Speaking of London, that's where Mom and Dad met. So Dad's a lawyer. He still practices. He still goes to work every day. He's a nicer human being for being able to go to work. Like I think many men, you know, who love what they do when they are forced to sort of stop through illness or whatever, that can make life very difficult for them. So thankfully, he's happily still going to work. Mum used to be a radiographer at Guy's Hospital. And then she had me, and then after having me, after a few months, moved to Malaysia, and has pretty much been here. And she specializes in special educational SEN teaching. So she's a teacher. Then became a teacher many years after that. She's amazing. She retook, in order to go from radiography, which she did prior to having me, after having all four of us, because there's four of us, she then, looking after 4 children, 2 teenagers. My brother was an amazing, cool, nice child. I was the problem child. Then having 2 younger ones to look after, who compared to me were also lovely children to raise. She went back and did her A-level. She did 3 A-levels whilst looking after all of us in the evenings, and then went on to do her teaching stuff. So she's incredible, Mum, like super incredible. Yeah.
So they both sound so amazing. What do you think you inherited from them, or what did you learn from them?
I think I'm more like my dad than I am my mum. So maybe from being sort of cross-examined by a lawyer right from when you're young about, you know, who ate the last biscuit and who really was the one that broke the swing and that kind of thing. Perhaps I'm good at presenting different sides of things. Maybe. Mum, I think I learned how to sort of like give good hugs and just kind of sort of be present when I have to be. I'm not as good as she is by a long shot, but yeah, I think any softness, any kind of kindness, any kind of lovely parts of me that are sort of, you know, attractive in terms of sort of as a whole person, sort of are there from Mum. As minuscule as that percentage may be in my personality, I think that comes from Mum. And her love of organizing things, yeah.
I think giving good hugs is something that people should be proud about and put on their CV, and it's an amazing skill. And I know that you give good hugs. We won't talk about Tokyo. We are not going to talk about Tokyo. Thank you, Brittany.
Tokyo who?
Tokyo who, exactly. You have a lovely son. So tell us which bits about your son that you roll your eyes out and you shout and you kind of get at him, but secretly you're kind of a little bit proud of and reflects a little bit of you.
Okay, there's parts of him where sort of he gets into overwhelm, where I recognize that that in me, and that's frustrating because I know what he feels like, but I'm also going to overwhelm because he's an overwhelmed kind of thing. So that's kind of really frustrating. That's when I can get a bit shouty and shirty and have less patience. So that resonates because I have that. But I think the things that I'm most proud about him are how he kind of manages to sort of figure out a way around it. So whilst he's in sort of that storm of whatever's happening, it can be like the end of the world. But then he kind of, and he does this so much better than me. Like, you know, I can't even tell you how proud I am about the fact that he can just hit a wall and then literally 15, 20 minutes later have everything together again and be sorted out and be able to do stuff. Like for me, I would take maybe the night, you know, I'd go to bed just being like, and then in the next day. So his turnaround is a lot faster. So I see that in him. A lot of his things that I'm proud of are totally unlike me, which I'm really glad at. So perhaps because of me, he's had to learn to do things differently, faster, figure stuff out, because I've been unable to sort of teach him how to do those things. Does that even answer your question?
Very much so.
Very much. You know, Asha, everything you're saying is so fascinating. I do want to react to you saying that your mom taught you how to give good hugs, because that struck me. That really did. And now that we know a lot about your family, what would you tell your future grandkids about your family? How would you tell your grandkids about them?
About my family, okay, I'd say your great-grandfather was a mad inventor who may have been a lawyer for the longest part of his life. He worked on managing rubber estates before that, and put himself through uni, and he really struggled. He used to fix taxis and sort of vehicles like that at the weekend to earn a bit of extra money, and he did his degree in half the time because he didn't have the money to do it in 3 years. He had to do it in just over 1.5 years. So that was like full on, and he did all that. So he was such a determined man who basically was probably like probably you are, bits of sort of mad, wacky spectrum running through, or like sparkles through the mainstream on that, because he's also such an inventor. He's always inventing stuff, always ahead of the time, like removable car seat covers and stuff like that. That came out like 20 years before. And I remember him bringing, samples home, and people were like, why would you want to remove your car seat? And he's like, but no, it's something that you could do, because then you can actually change them really easy without having to change your whole seat. And that was like incredible. So he's a mad inventor. He's brilliant, and he, his hobbies are still planting. He's got a farm that he goes to, and anyway, he's just mad like that. Your grandmother's brilliant. She should have been an archaeologist without any children. But then again, you wouldn't be here, because if she didn't have any children, she wouldn't have had me, and then you wouldn't be around. But her love of history and her love of culture and just being open to the world and just curious about the world has just made her the most sort of tolerant, loving, kind individual. So if she ever got mad or angry, you knew that that person or that thing was really unjust and wrong, because she wouldn't rise to the occasion like that. And she was a radiographer. She put herself back into night school again to do her A-levels, and then again her teaching course. And she raised us 4 and always had dinner on the table, and always didn't care about, and I'm not kidding when I say piles of laundry in the laundry room. Like if you need a hug or help with your homework, she'd be up all night doing the laundry and stuff, because she dropped everything to just sit and be there with you. And I'm never going to be the grandmother like she was, so don't even think about it. And you've got an amazing eldest uncle who's just, if you ever need practical advice and you ever need someone to just be so calm and lead you through whatever crisis, go see Uncle Naren. And if you need to have a really good conversation, or you love of gaming or current affairs, or just have the best conversation ever in the world, go and see Uncle Cab, because he'll give you a hug and sit you on his knee and just talk to you for hours about anything you want to, because that's just who he is. Auntie Janine would be the person you go to if you get locked up in jail or you get into trouble or you need something badly. She's got elements of Uncle Naren, Uncle Kabir, me, and everyone, but she's just like so cool about it. So you'll get out of jail free card. If you're in trouble for anything, call Auntie Janine. And me, I'm the black sheep of the family. So if you ever worry about making mistakes and thinking that you've really done something you can't walk yourself back from, you just got to know that I've done it many times in my life. And if you need a hug, I'm here.
Oh, wow. Asha, I want to be in your family now. The way you describe everybody. Yeah, adopt me. Hey. All right. Now, what we want you to do is, you've got your phone with you?
I do.
Yep. We need you to leave a meaningful voice message to someone in your life. You don't have to tell us who. Just dial someone. Just leave a message for someone. And we just like to eavesdrop on that message.
Gosh, okay. Does it have to be any length? Is there a requirement to this? I need to know parameters.
No. It can just be a short message or a long one, just a heartfelt one.
I know you're a Channel V VJ, so you used to be a Channel V VJ, so everything's a type 30 when you speak anyway.
Which I was always terrible at, because I'm terrible at time, but anyway.
Let's read the order.
Okay. I've just seen this message my son's just sent me, by the way, opening this up. Can I share with it?
Yes,
You're good at explaining things like maths, but horrible at it, Mum. Because I was trying to help him earlier. Okay. You know what? I'm going to leave a message for him. Here we go. Okay, darling, listen. Practically everything that you're going to learn at school is going to be absolutely useless when you get out into the real world. And unfortunately, you're stuck in this institution until you're legally allowed to leave. In some countries, that's 16, as we've discussed. But right here, I think you're kind of stuck till you're 17 or 18. Take this as a microcosm experiment on how to live and navigate in the real world. The skills you're going to learn here are how to figure out how to do stuff. But it's not really about the stuff, because everything you're learning, basically how to do, as I said, I don't know how it's going to help you with the way the world is changing. So you just make sure that you've got a lot of hobbies that keep you happy, and you just focus on getting this done, and just know that in real life, there's a lot of shit that you are not going to like that you have to get done. It's the mundane housekeeping. And it just stands in good stead of compartmentalizing and knowing that I've just got to get this done, and then it's done, and then I can move on to do whatever else I want to do. And I guess it's kind of managing life. You know, I'm crap at it, juggling, and you're better at juggling than me. So just take it on the chin and just keep on doing it. All right? I love you.
Wow.
I want to be you as a parent.
Well.
Yeah.
Was that? Were you timing?
But I think it fits very nicely.
That was the message. Asha, if you get a reply from him before the end of the show, do you mind if you share it with us?
Sure. I'll see if he replies. He's I don't know what he's doing upstairs now. No, because the thing is, I think kids are so invested in their grades, but grades don't matter. Like, really, in the big scheme of things, you know, okay, in some instances you need your degree and stuff like that, and you do need grades to get into those courses. I understand that's the system that exists at the moment, but kids beating themselves up and parents pushing kids to get A's and stuff, and with COVID especially, adding so much, you know, they've lost a year of their childhood. They've lost a year of learning to socialize. It's a huge, impactful, like a year is a long time at that age. And I just think that, you know, worrying about doing something properly or getting good grades is just such a waste of time, because quite honestly, how much did you learn at school that was actually relevant in real life?
None.
If you're a kid, especially with...
Yeah. I've never once ever been asked to show my grades for any job I've been up for. I don't even know that. I don't even remember them, right? And I don't recall once ever being asked.
Right. I mean, the books that are being sort of had for English comprehension, the rest of it, like the texts, are they really choosing? Has the curriculum changed in the past 50 years? Have they made different choices in things, except for just maybe we'll swap out this book now, or that book's not banned anymore, we can bring that book in? I mean, like, when you look at it from the bigger perspective, yes, I think it's important to learn about geography. How do plates, connect? How do we get volcanoes? There's a general essence of how things are run, but like, for example, history, it's so subjective to that curriculum, and a lot of the stuff in some countries, it's made up, they're lies. And you've got kids stressing about, grades being a reflection of who they are, piff and coconuts and hot air and crap and rubbish, as far as I'm concerned.
I love how you tell it as it is. We can go on and on.
Best not. I might start swearing. I'm trying very hard to just not swear.
I can sense that.
It's just tough. I mean, finding your feet at that age and just trying to get the right basics and education to get you where you want to be and just achieve in life. And you've certainly come a long way as well. Can you share with us some of the life goals that you think you have achieved?
I never really set a life goals, to be honest with you. I think I always got stumped. In fact, I once got pulled up by one of my bosses who said, "You've been here working with us for 3 years, and when you first started, you were supposed to have goals you wanted to achieve." And I never completed that sort of form or exercise, because really I can't solidify the kind of goals that I want. I kind of target how I want to feel, how I need certain things to feel certain ways. But I don't know, I'm funny with goals like that. My goals are, like, I haven't achieved the goal of wanting to learn how to speak Spanish. So I'm about to really do something to make that happen. I want to learn how to sew my own clothes. Like, I have goals like that for me have a sense of meaning for them, for me as a person in my life. But I don't have that big goal of wanting to earn X amount, or, I'd like to own my own house one day, but I'm okay not owning it right now, because I don't really know where I want to live.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does. So what keeps you up at night then?
Have I done all the prep for the morning show? Because I have to get up so early that there's stuff like getting the current news stories in the morning that if I haven't done everything now, it's more stuff. So that goalpost has moved now. So getting up at 3, it's like, am I ready for the 3 o'clock wake up? The things that keep me up at night, if my son's going through a really difficult time, when work sets up at school, or he's going through sort of something and I'm trying to look for solutions or figure stuff out, that sometimes can keep me up. Like, how am I going to find a workaround for this? What can I do? Those kinds of things. Restless legs keep me up. So I got very sick last year with Graves' disease, was finally diagnosed. And one of the things that is horrific is restless legs. And anyone can tell you if they've had it, no matter how exhausted or tired you are, you're laying in bed, it's like you jet lag, you're just about to fall off to sleep, or you're already in the process of sleeping, and your body just jerks you awake, and you've got adrenaline coursing through your body, and your heart starts pumping, and you're awake. So that definitely physically keeps me up at night, which is just such a pain. I normally make dessert when that happens. I come downstairs and I make jelly or trifle, or I bake, because there's no point trying to sleep.
It sounds like you've been through so much and so recent as well. So then, what are you surprisingly brave about then?
That is a really interesting question. What am I surprisingly brave about? Not knowing.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really brave. Uncertainty. Yeah. Uncertainty is it's what everyone worries about. It's sort of a universal worry, and that's why people go to fortune tellers, open up their horoscope on the 1st of every month. People are on a basic level looking for certainty in an uncertain world. So that's incredible that you said that.
So you're saying that you're brave about not knowing.
Yeah.
Wow. That is brave.
It doesn't mean I'm not scared of like the future in some ways. It doesn't mean that I don't have sort of anxiety wrapped around sort of the not knowing, whatever. But I'm good with it. I'm like so down with it. I'm like, oh, it's just because I don't know. That's why I'm feeling this way. Like it's like it makes sense. I don't know. It's just all it is. I don't know. So I don't know what's about to happen. So that's okay. I can't know, so I don't know.
That's amazing, because I think, as Angie's right, everybody stresses over the fact that you can't know everything or control everything, but you seem to have full trust that whatever comes your way, you'll just deal with when it comes. And that's an amazing attitude.
I think maybe that's come also from like working with people and you hit the nail on the head. It's like, if you can trust yourself, you can never know, as you say, crystal ball, you can never know what's going to happen. But if you can look at yourself and go, Ash or Ange, do I trust myself that no matter what, I will figure it out? I might not know immediately. It may take me weeks. It take me a year. When you talk about illness and all those kinds of things, it's not immediate. But regardless of the duration of time it takes me, or the amount of mistakes I make in trying to make the solution happen, I will figure it out. If you can just have that small belief, then it's like, I don't know, but when I figure out what it is I am supposed to know or supposed to do, then I can do it, or I can figure out how to do it. Then you take that anxiety level away from not knowing. You're still kind of afraid, you're still nervous, whatever it is, you have all those emotions, but you're not stuck in the I don't know. You're stuck in the, all right, in the meantime, I can do this. In the meantime, I can do that, because I've got to just figure out what it is I need to know so that I know what I need to know, do.
No,
Does that make sense?
You know what struck me, Ash? Yeah, it does. What struck me is you mentioned earlier that you were diagnosed with Graves' disease last year. And I don't know much about Graves' disease, but from what you described, it feels to me like it's something that's from your thyroid or something, because it just makes your body do things, right? But what struck me was that last year was also the COVID year. Last year was when we were all stuck at home. So what was it like? What was that like for you?
Well, it makes practical things difficult, like when you've got sort of interstate travel to go see the doctors and stuff. So, planning becomes a little bit of a pain, because you've got to get, it's harder because you need to get your permission slips and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, that was the perfect time to be sick, to fall sick, to deal with both my broken feet and my shingles and the Graves blowing up, because, a lot of my work stopped because the clients I work with family around at home and shared technology and devices, I couldn't see my clients one-on-one very easily. So a lot of that work kind of caved. And so it opened up this space of time where, everyone's like Netflix and chill. Well, I Netflix chilled, and I just focused on healing, because COVID afforded me the time out of work and away from people to actually just, so it's my silver lining really, to get sick, to have to deal with something like that then, was, I think, good timing in a funny way.
Yeah, well, you're probably the only person who would have said that that's a silver lining. The fact that you said that your jobs didn't happen, and you had this disease, and you said it's the perfect time for it. And the silver lining was you did not have to deal with all of the people, and you can focus on healing. That's a really unusual but very healthy way of looking at things.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find one way. I mean, like, there's the worry, and there was financial worry as well, about what's going to happen. I admit I had to ask my dad to sort of, I was like, can you help me out with, sort of, I had to go and get all sorts of scans and stuff done and stuff. I'm like, I need to borrow some cash. So I was lucky to be able to do that. But you've got all your worries and your concerns, milling around. But then there's also that option of going, well, what better time to have it? And it's interesting, though, a lot of people, when things happen, it's always like, why did it have to happen now? As if there was any better time for it to happen. You get diagnosed with cancer, why does it have to happen now when everything's going so well? Well, everything was going so well 10 years ago. Would it have been a better time to have it 10 years ago? Or, do you know what I mean? So we humans kind of have this idea that now is not a good time, which life proves time and time again is not the case, right? So it's just kind of holding that possibility, that silver lining possibility, at the same time as this is effing terrible and crap at the same time.
what you're saying is just so inspiring. But I'm curious if is there any other character trait that you think you have? Because obviously this is a really big one. This attitude of I've got what it takes, whatever it is that life throws my way, I've got what it takes to deal with it. But is there any other character traits that you have that you think makes you successful or got you to where you are?
Funnily enough, I think that one of the reasons I was really good at my job on telly and maybe radio is my ADHD brain. Because for short spurts, I can focus on this, how I synapse stuff. So someone could throw something at me and I can ad-lib very easily because I'm so scatterbrained that actually a lot of weird things are connected with something. So earlier on, Jen was like, how do I segue from this to this? I could probably find a segue really quickly in things because my brain is like a pinball machine with its ball going ding, 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 the whole time, right? So I think, one of my superpowers has been how my brain is wired differently. Now, I'm not saying that I've got ADHD. I haven't had the assessment yet, but, I do know that it is wired differently. I do know there's things like my mental blindness, which stops me from being able to plan and see and visualize. That also helps me from finding workarounds and stuff. So I think my superpowers come from how differently my brain's wired.
Wow. Is there any point in your life where you would say that you were at your unhappiest?
Many times. I think there's many times in everyone's life that you're desperately unhappy, and each time feels like the worst time ever, right? And you can't diminish that drama and angst by going, in hindsight, this time was worse. I just think, we all go through, fall through the grates and get stuck at the bottom of the hole and it's not about the size of the thing or the hugeness of the thing that happens. It's some emotional significance of that thing that can make what seemingly a small thing to somebody else monumental to me, right? So yeah, I've hidden, I've cried for days, I've sat in bed just listening to this terrible thing we humans do, saddest songs, just to amplify my own, angst and woe is me. Yeah.
Okay, well, at least I know there's something that I also do that you do. I sulk. So yeah, I sulk.
Oh, you sulk? Okay.
But you bounce back faster. You bounce back a lot faster.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you can bounce back faster if you're not trying to resist how you're feeling, right? If you feel terrible, you feel terrible. And if you're okay with feeling terrible, then you bounce back faster. It's just like, I don't want to feel terrible. I should be so grateful. I'm not suffering like other people. And you start compounding crap on top of the crap you're already feeling. You're just going to make it worse, right? It just lasts longer.
So is that your remedy? Is that how you overcome that?
Yeah, I give myself permission to just go, this is how I'm feeling. And I'm very vocal. I talk about it to myself in the shower or to myself in the mirror. And I use a lot of expletives, which I won't use now, but I do just go, this is how I'm feeling. And then I allow myself to talk it out. And then sometimes I hear the ridiculousness of what I'm saying and I catch myself. And so then I can pull myself up faster. If not, sometimes I make myself cry even more because I sound like a compassionate person who totally understands me is this person in the mirror talking back to me. It's like, you know how I feel? Yes, I do feel like that. And I have a shower and then I feel better. And then I fall into bed going, I just feel miserable today. And I do, I cry and and then I go to sleep at some stage or I don't sleep and the next day I feel terrible. But it's allowing it to happen and being okay that that's how you feel. I find, for me anyway, I get out of the funk faster.
Yeah, and it sounds like the dialogue that you have between yourself and allowing yourself space to have that dialogue and have, talk to yourself helps you overcome it. So that sounds like a good remedy. So tell us, when were you happiest? Tell us a few moments that made you really happiest in your life.
When I'm happiest, generally, is when I'm in the bathroom alone and no one can get to me. So I've been known to take, when my son was younger, not so much now he's older because I can just go away and not worry about his feelings, but I'd take a book in there and have a tea and I'd pretend I had the shower running. Sorry, wasting water planet, but I'd pretend I was having a shower, but I was really reading a couple of chapters of a book. moments I can actually sort of have space and quiet and be by myself. Because even though I do a very extroverted job, I'm actually an introvert. So I recharge by quiet. So I will happily sit in bed with a pot of tea and a book, or watch a couple of episodes of something or whatever, and just, because, with Lonely Planet, with Channel V and stuff, I'd finish work and there'd be the weekend happening, and I wouldn't talk to a soul the whole weekend. I'd just be by myself. And then I'd come back recharged. So happiest is when I kind of have a quiet bubble around me to recharge. But then I guess any other time I'm happiest when I'm pottering around with, the 6-foot monster upstairs, and we're kind of cohabitating. Is that the right word? And he's doing his own thing, or, and I'm doing my own thing over here, or we're having a conversation. Just, yeah. It's that sort of happy that's content, and this is good, life is good. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. There's all of those beautiful things that come into that is sort of what happy means to me.
Oh, sounds like the really precious moments make you happy. So, this show is about legacy. Have you ever thought about how you would like to be remembered?
Not really. She was fab.
She was. She really was.
She loved chilies. She could eat anyone over chilies. No, I haven't really.
Is that something that you think as you get older you might think about, or you just don't think about it? And for what reason?
I think the closest I think to sort of the idea of legacy is more, what have I done that's really mattered in life? Like, have I made a difference in sort of a way that benefits anybody else? And then I kind of think, okay, well, so far the child's sort of balanced and he's fine, so he doesn't look like he needs a lot of therapy. I think I did okay there, and that's a beautiful human being going out into the world. So, okay, that's sort of part of it. I did that job. I'm doing that job sort of well enough, for the most part. Yeah, I guess those sorts of things. But no, I don't really often think about that. Do you? Do you guys think about that? Jen, do you think about that, your legacy?
All the time. It changes every day, so I keep adding stuff into it.
Okay. You use Trello, do you? A different column for each sort of day. Yeah.
And color coded as well, so I know.
Oh, step out of Angie's book. What about you, Ange? Do you think about that?
I don't want to be remembered because I don't want people to miss me. So I think about that. I really do.
Make me cry.
I think about not being remembered because I don't want people to be unhappy. People who love me, I want them to. If there was some magic wand, the thing that you flash in that movie, Men in Black, that would just erase me completely. And I hope, in a way, not to leave any. Are you really crying, Asha? Did I really make you cry?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just because, if I didn't remember you, then I wouldn't have crazy memories of this most amazing time, or a relationship, or a connection. Like, I'd lose all my connections. I'd come unraveled as a human being if that happened with people that you love, right? Because grief is an expression of love. That's all grief is.
Wow, you're going to make me cry. I've never thought about it that way.
But it's not up to you.
Yeah, it's not up to you.
Yeah, it's our call. It's our call. If
we will remember you.
We will.
Yeah, but I want to invent the Men in Black, pen.
Think about the butterfly effect. Think about the butterfly effect. But you'd unravel
it from me.
Yeah, you can do that, but just don't use it on us.
I hope people remember things that I might have taught them and books I've introduced them to, and I've set up friends, so I introduce them to guys and things. I hope, but they they don't have to connect it back to me. They'll just forget where it came from, where it originated, and then they won't grieve and they won't hurt.
Have you never heard of the butterfly effect? You can't do that because, like, do you watch Legends? Are you into sci-fi at all?
I don't even know what that
where
is.
they go back in Legends. Okay. Anyway, you go back in time to sort of fix anything or take something out of where it's supposed to be, and alternate realities start happening because people who are supposed to meet don't meet each other, because you can't affect the space-time continuum without the greater ramifications of the ripple effect going out across the way. So if you think you're trying to sort of do something to help people, you're taking away their expression of love. You're taking away, and they'll walk around this massive gaping hole in their heart of this thing that they once had, but they won't know what it was. They won't even know what love is, or this facet of a kind of love that they had for you, because you just selfishly removed that thinking you're being helpful. So just get over yourself and just stay in our memory.
You know what?
Right. Well said.
Asha just said it really well. I was just about to say, McFly, did Doc not teach you anything?
Exactly.
It's Back to the Future, man.
I'd like to remind you that is a work of fiction. People don't get into the DeLorean and drive at 80 miles per hour and go back to any time that they want.
What?
I think it's really apt now to share with everyone that Anja's nickname is Marty McFly from Back to the Future. So.
Monica Marty McFly.
Why do I get all the crappy names? I'm going to think about that. So Asha, I mean, what would your 80-year-old future Asha tell the Asha today? What advice would you give?
Make better lists.
Oh my gosh.
Learn to sew earlier. Learn to knit earlier. Do everything earlier, because, now I read somewhere, this is perfect. I don't know where I read it. Now is the youngest you'll ever be again, and the oldest you've ever been right now. So just get on with it and do it, you silly cow.
Is that exactly how the book wrote it? That's how it was in the book.
No, the last bit about silly cow wasn't how the quote came. That was a bit of Asha colour there. So I'm so rude. I'm drinking loads of tea and you guys don't even have anything, but my throat gets really parched and dry because of the doodah what's it, if you know what I mean. So one must keep drinking tea.
No, you leave us speechless, Asha. You leave me speechless.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know too.
Asha, all I can say is I've known you for so many years, and it's been ages since we actually sat down and had a chat. I mean, we just finally got to chat on the phone after so many years, but honestly, hand on heart, I'm so happy that you spent time with us today to create this video time capsule. And it's so sad that we have to come to a close and we've got to close the show. And so as you close the lid to this, you get to leave one message. What do you want to say to your future grandkids?
Oh, okay. What do I want to say to my future grandkids? Okay. Adults get it wrong all the time. People in authority get it wrong all the time. Just because someone's a teacher or a police officer or whatever their position is, doesn't mean that they're right. Okay, so don't ever think that there's anything wrong with you if you have a different opinion, or you want to see if your way works, or you recognize that person's wrong, but that adult's actually not copying to being wrong and they're just pretending that they're right. It's okay. Just forgive them and move on, just knowing that actually they get it wrong. They don't always know what's best. Making mistakes is the only way you're ever going to learn how to do something right. So I want you to remember that when you were a baby, you didn't know how to walk, but now you're walking. How did you learn how to walk? You started to pull yourself up. You fell down on your bum loads of times. You hurt yourself. You startled yourself. It seems scary, but you kept doing it until you could walk. Same thing as learning to ride a bicycle. So That's all life is. You don't know how to do something until you learn how to do it. And that is just the difference of being confident in doing something is enough times that you feel confident that you know how to do it. Because confidence is not about doing something well. Confidence is all about doing something, well enough that you can get it done. So just remember that. What else do I want to say? It's okay to be afraid. And in fact, being afraid is the kind of same feeling as being excited. So every time you feel afraid about something, you can always use the word, I'm excited about this too. So I'm afraid about my exams. I'm scared of my exams. I'm excited about my exams. Like always transpose that with that word, okay? And it makes a huge difference. Even if you still feel afraid, you also have a bit of excitement in there. You can always look for a different perspective if the one that you have right now makes you feel miserable. Now, you might not find one that makes you feel 100% better, like hanky-dory, everything's fine, but feeling better incrementally is better than not feeling better at all. And I suppose if you're my grandchild, my son's your dad. And he's an amazing human being, and he's so super funny, and he was so much smarter than me, so he had to teach me a lot of things, and it took me time to catch up, to understand. It took me time to kind of understand what he needed when he was growing up. So he may not always be quick enough and fast enough to understand what you need. So be patient and kind with him. And just know that you're smarter than him. So it's definitely going to take time to catch up. And he knows how to give good hugs. So sometimes all you need is a hug from your dad. And so go get one. That's it.
Asha.
Oh my God.
Beautiful. You made me cry. You're making me cry. Fortunately, my glasses are dark now. Asha, thank you very much for being so beautifully self-aware, beautifully honest. I was telling Jen and Ange earlier that we never got to know each other. I did hear about you, and I heard a lot of stories about you. But when we met briefly
I'm not one-dimensional about Tokyo.
Oh yeah. No, but when we met yesterday, I really was looking forward to this chat because I knew that you had a lot to say. And I must say, there are a lot of people watching right now. I even saw somebody saying hi from Nigeria. So you don't only have people watching in the Philippines, in Malaysia, in Singapore, and Hong Kong. You've got people watching from around the world. And I'm, for one, will say that from the stuff that you said, I think I will look back at this day like a year from now and know that somehow it changed my life. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for being our guest today.
Thanks for having me on for Saturday afternoon tea.
Thank you.
There are so many. I will say the same as Percy, though Percy said it much more eloquently than me. You have given us just these amazing golden nuggets that I honestly will take with me forever. I really mean that. Thank you so much, because I know that this is just you. You didn't prepare it. We said to you, should we brief you a bit beforehand? You're like, no, we'll just go on the fly. I don't need to know anything. This is just you talking, just you being you on a Saturday afternoon. And the love you have for your family, the warmth that you express everything, the care and the passion that you have, the wisdom that you have. The fact that you say you're disorganized, you cannot connect the dots, that nothing makes sense, that it's all one big mess. Bring it on. If this is a mess, bring it on, because you're connecting dots. I'm going to look back at this and go, where did I hear that? Someone wants some. I'm going to be quoting you, giving other people your advice, and I'll have completely forgotten where it came from. And then I'll be going, that mad cow, Asha Gill.
That's what I want to be remembered as, that mad cow, Asha Gill. You've got it, my epitaph.
It's Fab Mad Cow, Asha Gill.
And now I'm just going to put this all into perspective. I mean, this past hour and 20 minutes, Asha, has been the worst time of my life.
I know,
just wish
darling.
to take it all back. There's
I know.
so
Wait,
much
wait,
bullshit
wait.
going
Hang
on.
on.
Talk about yourself,
Hang on.
me, and how you both. I mean, just enough already, please. All right, we get it. But all honesty, I mean, this is why we love you, and we miss you so much. And you know what? Never change. And the love you have for your family is amazing. And I mean, Ange and I have always been so proud to call you a friend, and now Percy can call you a friend. So please
Yay.
don't just keep in touch via the show. We need to see you more.
Yes,
we need to hear from you more, and we want to know about you.
We should
want
keep
a good
in touch.
hug.
I'm personally here in the group now. Yes, I could even do with a good hug. And Jen, we're not allowed to meet when you're in your dicky bow tie and me in a sparkly dress anymore. We have to meet over food and lunch with our families. The last time Jen and I saw, I think, each other in real life was, you know, we got dressed up. And when, are you, because like we're always looking really sloppy. So when we were dressed up, it's like, Jen, is that you? Ash, is that you? Yeah, it is.
Sparkly dress? Oh, hello.
Yeah. Ash doesn't wear dresses. Yeah. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Love you so much, Asha. And guys, thank you very much for watching Dear Future Grandkids. I'm Jen. That's Ange. That's Percy. And of course, that's the wonderful Asha Gill. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.